Haunting in Venice is the third film in the modern adaptation of Agatha Christie's Hercule Poirot mystery series, directed by Kenneth Branagh. It is based on Christie's 1969 novel Halloween Party and takes place in 1947 against the backdrop of post-World War II Europe. The film combines elements of Gothic horror with the classic detective mystery, following the retired detective Hercule Poirot as he is drawn into a sinister and atmospheric case involving a seance and the supernatural. Setting and introduction. The film begins with Hercule Poirot, Kenneth Branagh, who is living in self-imposed exile in Venice, Italy. Poirot, now a man burdened by the trauma of the war and disillusioned by the world, has given up his life as a detective. He lives a quiet and secluded life, avoiding all cases and public attention. However, his peaceful existence is interrupted when he is invited by a former acquaintance, novelist Ariadne Oliver, Tina Fey, to attend a Halloween party at the eerie, decaying palazzo of a reclusive opera singer named Rowena Drake, Kelly Riley. The palazzo, located on the canals of Venice, is said to be haunted, and Oliver convinces Poirot to come out of retirement for the event. The seance and the gathering. The night of the party coincides with a seance conducted by the medium Mrs. Reynolds, Michelle Yeoh, Rowena's daughter, the troubled and sickly Alicia Drake, Emma Laird, who has been suffering from psychological issues after the death of her twin brother, has become obsessed with communicating with him through the seance. The gathering of people in the palazzo includes Rowena, Alicia, Mrs. Reynolds, and other guests, including a doctor, a detective, and a writer. The seance takes a disturbing turn when the ghostly presence of Alicia's twin brother seems to manifest, and one of the guests is found dead shortly afterward. The atmosphere in the palazzo becomes increasingly tense and paranoid, with the supernatural and psychological factors blending in such a way that it's difficult to discern whether there is a haunting, a murder, or both at play. Poirot's investigation. Reluctantly, Poirot is drawn into the investigation of the death. Despite his skepticism about the supernatural, he quickly deduces that the seemingly paranormal events are rooted in something more earthly and sinister. As he investigates the guests, Poirot uncovers hidden motives, secrets, and conflicts between them. Each of the characters harbors a dark secret. Dr. Ferrier, Jamie Dornan, a psychiatrist, seems to have a peculiar interest in Alicia's condition, and his past ties to her family raise questions about his true intentions. Rowena Drake, the opera singer, has been exploiting her daughter Alicia's mental illness for financial gain, and her obsession with controlling Alicia's inheritance plays a role in the unfolding events. Mrs. Reynolds, the medium, may have been using her powers to manipulate the situation for personal gain, including making money from the seances. Ariadne Oliver, the writer, although supportive of Poirot, is herself struggling with personal guilt and unresolved issues tied to her past. As Poirot pieces together the fragments of the case, the line between rational explanation and supernatural phenomena becomes blurred. He ultimately deduces that the murder is a carefully orchestrated plan, one driven by greed, envy, and psychological manipulation. Twist and conclusion. In a dramatic final confrontation, Poirot reveals the truth. Alicia Drake, driven by her obsession with her late twin brother and her fragile mental state, had staged her own death with the help of Dr. Ferrier. In a shocking twist, the ghostly figure that had been haunting the party was actually a figment of Alicia's delusions, brought on by the trauma and manipulation of those around her. Dr. Ferrier had been complicit in helping Alicia fake her death, attempting to frame the entire affair as a supernatural haunting, and in doing so, both hoped to escape their own guilt and to profit from Rowena's wealth. However, the true motivation for the deaths was rooted in Alicia's warped psychological need for control over her life and the lingering grief from her brother's passing. In the final scene, Poirot, having solved the case, is forced to confront his own psychological scars. The film ends with a melancholic note, as Poirot reflects on the cost of his own personal detachment and the toll of solving so many mysteries.